They were booked before the game started. So sorry. When did doubt creep in?
10-0. I didn't like how the game was going.
Right.
But they have been down 10 in literally every Super Bowl win. And so I was by no means panicked. The pick six was not great.
No.
But even in that moment, pick six, okay, down 17, they were still, okay, down 17, going to get the ball at half, got to score before half. When I first felt real doubt was post pick six, 3 and out. When I was like, oh. Like, they know now the margin of error is gone and went 3 and out. Then right after that, they got the ball back. Mahomes got hit and threw the next pick. And now it's seemingly game over. It's seemingly game over.
Sorry. Again, this wasn't. Keep going. You have to. We're here for your analysis. Sorry.
It's seemingly game over.
Yes. Sorry.
However, and so Brew, what do you think I did at halftime? You know what I did.
Walk the dog.
Without the dog. I just walked around the block repeatedly. No phone, no dog, just thinking. And I had a moment where I was like, wait a minute.
Oh.
Wait a minute. This whole dynasty started down 24-0 against the Houston Texans. That was the first playoff game of the 2019 season.
Right. Okay.
And I was like, you know what? I was now the end of that walk thinking, would 24-0 trump 28-3? It's one less point, but it's
crossed my mind a little bit.
All of it. So
it could comfort you in that moment.
So yes. So I had renewed hope. That was immediately extinguished on the first drive of the half. It was as impressive a defensive line 4-man performance in any game of consequence, Bruce, since the last time a team walked into a Super Bowl with a chance to be stamped the greatest of all time. I think it was the best defensive line performance in a Super Bowl since the 2007 New York Giants held one of the greatest offenses ever to 14 points. And it was very clear the Chiefs didn't have answers. It was very clear Mahomes was not going to be able to activate a gear that he always has been able to activate. And instead, he was just shaky the whole time. And it was very clear the Eagles last night were the better team and the deserving champion. Like, that is what it is.
Yeah. Look, I agree. I mean, even at 24-0, and I had people
Can't
over.
drink my coffee because it's filled with confetti.
I put mine under the table for that very reason.
Good teammate. Go ahead. Sorry, bro.
I even at 24-0, I mean, I felt it was probably over. But I was like, look, they'll make some adjustments. They get the ball back. Reed, obviously, I was thinking is great at that. And, you know, like you said, they came out and didn't do it, and it was essentially a wrap. I thought going in, though, that we would learn a lot by the first tush push from Philly.
Yep.
So, because Casey had been so good against Buffalo, and I know theirs isn't as good, but when this,
not even close.
like Philly just ran right through the Chiefs' defense on this. He is like 4 yards into the end zone, and I'm thinking, this is not Buffalo. This is not the Bills. And, Nick, that's what we saw play out on the other side of the ball. The defensive front for Philly just dominated the game. And when they could get to Mahomes with 4, it was because then you got 7 covering all the receivers.
They didn't blitz once until late third quarter.
And Nick, I never, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, I never in my life thought I would say that these Chiefs look like breakdancers.
Oh, you.
Yeah. I mean, this was an unreal game. Everyone's talking about when doubt crept in. Doubt that the Chiefs. They're all looking at it through the Kansas City Chiefs lens, which is just funny. It is just funny. But listen, I've been around enough. I've seen enough crazy games. I mean, just even the most recent game of Tom Brady, right? Obviously, it was like, the middle of the third quarter where he came back and the score was 28-3. So you just never know. You just truly never know. But when the Eagles stopped the Chiefs to start the second half, because at that point the score was 24-0. And it wouldn't have shocked anyone if the Kansas City Chiefs score a touchdown in that second half, to start the second half. And now it's 24-7. And would it have been so out of the realm of possibility for the Eagles to go 3 and out or a couple first downs, but then a punt, and then the Chiefs score, and then again, before you know it, it's a 2-score game. I mean, it could be 5 minutes left in the third quarter, and it could be like a 10-point game or something. And then before you know it, it's like the Chiefs are in great spot. And now all the pressure is back on the Eagles, but then they stopped them. I mean, they stopped them like it was nothing. And that was kind of like, this feels different. This feels different, but still not over yet, because you're like, well, the Philadelphia Eagles could fumble, they could throw an interception, right? Like, you still know momentum can shift at any moment, right? Jalen Herz gets a strip sack, scoop fumble, boom, in for 6. So you just don't know. Then when it got to 34-0, and you realize that the Kansas City Chiefs didn't even cross the 50-yard line yet, then you're like, you're doing the math. You're like, okay, if they get a touchdown and get the 2-point conversion, they do that 4 times, that's 32 points. You're like, all right, I guess. And you're just like, I don't know if there's enough time at this point. Like, you're still thinking like there's still it's somehow possible, right? There's still something. But I mean, it was just a pure domination. Pure domination by the Philadelphia Eagles. People are trying to act like the Kansas City Chiefs played bad. Like that. KC collapsed. Like they collapsed. Like there was a way for them to be better. And there was not a way for them to be better because the Philadelphia Eagles were the better team at every position. Even quarterback. I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts is better than Patrick Mahomes, but it's undeniable that Jalen Hurts played better than Patrick Mahomes. And he did it last Super Bowl as well. Just a fact, man. It's just a fact. Even the stats don't lie. I mean, just watch the game itself and it doesn't lie. But even if we just go by stats, they don't lie. I mean, Patrick Mahomes' numbers were awful. And a bunch of his stats were so garbage, and we know it. They really only put up 6 points. And I had wrote down the numbers before he got that extra final touchdown. And Mahomes was 20 for 31, 207 yards, 6 sacks, 2 interceptions, a fumble, and a 78.3 rating. And I said this. When Nick said, oh, Patrick Mahomes is going to play perfect, I know he's going to take care of the ball. And I said, why? The dude has, and at that point it was, what would I always say? 5 interceptions and 4 Super Bowls, I think is what it was. And I kept saying that again and again and again. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, why are we acting like Patrick Mahomes always plays clean in Super Bowls? And of course I got ripped. And now the dude has, 7 interceptions and 5 Super Bowls? I mean, the dude has a 10 touchdowns to 7 interception ratio. And again, 2 of those touchdowns were garbage. It could easily be 8 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. I mean, that's wild. I mean, that's legitimately wild. And everyone talks about, Tom Brady. Tom Brady played like 1,300 Super Bowls. And the dude is 21-6. 21 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Patrick Mahomes has played less Super Bowls, clearly less, and already has more interceptions. Significantly it's going to be when it's all said and done. I mean, these are real things. This is a real thing. And this is not me bagging on Patrick Mahomes, but it's the reality of his story. It just is. It's the reality of his story. And yeah, the Eagles defense was dominant. No doubt about it. But there were plenty of times that Patrick Mahomes could have made a play, and he simply did not. And on the other side of the ball, Jalen Hurts made plays. When Jalen Hurts was flushed out of the pocket, when Jalen Hurts had the pocket collapse on him, when Jalen Hurts had hands in his face, he hit A.J. Brown for a first down. He rolled out and scrambled and off one foot hits Saquon Barkley for 22 yards. Right? When it was time for him to kind of tuck and run, what did he do? Jalen Hurts ripping off 20-plus yard runs for first downs. What did Patrick Mahomes do? Just go down. He got hit. He would get like 1 yard, 2 yards. He couldn't escape. He couldn't get through. When he was scrambling and go and flush out of the pocket making a throw, he throws a pick six to Cooper DeJean. He throws the interception to Bond. I mean, it's as clear as day, and it wasn't just a bad game by him. It's what Mahomes has been doing all year for the most part. I just kept telling you guys that Patrick Mahomes is not this unstoppable force. He is great. He is an all-time great. Let me say it again. Patrick Mahomes is an all-time great, but he is not unstoppable. And this whole idea that he was already better than Tom Brady, I mean, it's just not true. The dude's passer rating in the Super Bowls are like in the 80s, and it should be lower because of the garbage that he got, the garbage stats that he got. Again, 10 touchdowns and 7 interceptions in 5 Super Bowls. That's wild. That's wild. And the Kansas City Chiefs never did what the Philadelphia Eagles did in a Super Bowl. They never beat a team like the Philadelphia Eagles did. And the Philadelphia Eagles did it against the Kansas City Chiefs. Tom Brady lost in 3 Super Bowls. He lost by 3 points, 4 points, and 8 points. 15 points total. Patrick Mahomes has now lost by 22 points and 18 points for a 40 point differential in 2 Super Bowls. Some of that is on Mahomes, man. It just is. You can't give Patrick Mahomes all the praise when he wins, and then when they lose, you want to say, well, the O-line wasn't good enough. Patrick Mahomes, there was opportunities for him to make plays, and he didn't. He just didn't. And he was uncomfortable the whole time. He was not settled. I don't want to say he was nervous, because I don't think they're nervous, but he was not settled. I like to use the word settled. He wasn't settled. He played like Josh Allen did in that first drive against the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. You saw Jalen Herz from the jump settled. Jalen Herz has been just absolutely just like a rock, man, in both Super Bowls. And I'm gonna save my Jalen Hurts takes because obviously they're gonna be doing this little by little. So I guess this is technically my Holmes take. I don't know. Of course, you know they were gonna start with the Kansas City Chiefs. But I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs, when the Eagles had 24 points, the Kansas City Chiefs had 13 yards. 13 yards. Patrick Mahomes is the second quarterback to throw back-to-back interceptions on back-to-back passes in the Super Bowl. I mean, that's just wild, man. I mean, that's pretty crazy. Mahomes had 6 sacks most in his career. 34-0, biggest deficit in his career. When the Eagles were up 34-0, Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs never even crossed the 50-yard line. No pass was longer than 11 yards. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, that is. And now Patrick Mahomes has more interceptions than Super Bowl appearances. That's a real thing, man. That is a real thing that you have to accept and you have to wrestle with. Again, I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. No one is saying that Patrick Mahomes isn't unbelievably amazing. No one is saying that you wouldn't want Patrick Mahomes to be your quarterback. But this whole idea that he was just the Lord and Savior, I mean, they struggled just to put up 6 points. I mean, when they were scoring their next touchdown, you realize Sirianni was getting a Gatorade bath. Like, that's the thing. When they scored that second to last touchdown, you know, I think it was to Worthy, I believe. Like Nick Sirianni was getting a Gatorade bath. So 2 touchdowns came when Nick Sirianni was drenched in Gatorade. I mean, that just tells you that those touchdowns meant nothing. Okay? I mean, like, literally nothing. Philadelphia Eagles made the Kansas City Chiefs look like they didn't belong. Someone said that in the comment section. Like they didn't even belong in the Super Bowl. And it's true. The Washington Commanders played the Eagles better. The Los Angeles Rams played the Eagles better. The Green Bay Packers played the Eagles better. Heck, the Dallas Cowboys and Cooper Rush played the Eagles better. You got to wrestle with that. You can't all of a sudden say that the Kansas City Chiefs were not that good. Or that they didn't have the right team. Because you said that they were the best team in the NFL. You said that they were one of the best teams in the history of the NFL. You said that the three-peat was inevitable. You know what the only thing that was inevitable? Was the Philadelphia Eagles beatdown. But we're going to make clips all day about this. So I'll end it there. And we'll do some more Philadelphia Eagles focused clips. And that's where I'll play my music. That's where I'll do some victory laps. That's where we'll break this down even deeper. But this is funny. This is funny. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Kansas City Chiefs? When did the doubt creep in? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.